Hello. Well, I'm here again with more questions. I've always got questions. Several of you have asked why I don't do more videos. I'll explain that in a little bit, but I promised somebody that I would do one today, so this is what I've been wanting to do for the last few days, and I finally found the time to do this video. I want to ask the first question of what happened about 5 years ago? What's an unsolved crime from like 5 years ago? I'm sure a lot of you will say the Delphi, Abby and Libby. Well, that's close. That'll be in February, coming up. But in November 21st of 2016, so we're coming up on 5 years here in just a few days, the Flora girls died in a house fire in Flora, Carroll County, Indiana. Same county as the Delphi girls. So, makes us wonder what's going on in that county, eh? So, I understand that, the Delphi case has got a lot of attention with the bridge guy, all that. Other cases get a lot of attention, the Gabby case, the Moab girls, several other cases get a lot of YouTube footage, time, whatever you want to call it. But for some reason, the Flora girls don't get that kind of coverage. And we're talking about 4 young girls, Kiana, Kiara, Cariel, and Keone, died November 21st, 2016. Almost 5 years ago. Now, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the Carroll County law enforcement organizations. I do have faith in the Indiana State Patrol, I think. I still have faith in them, confidence in them. But speaking of the house fire, let me just start out by saying that the local authorities, the fire chief and the local regional fire arson inspector or fire inspector, decided, called it a natural fire, an accidental fire. So it was an accidental death of the 4 girls. Well, lo and behold, not long after that, an outside arson investigator comes in, and he determines that there was accelerants in the house, which means the house was torched. It was an arson. Therefore, the girls didn't accidentally die. They were murdered. Now, there's accusations of corruption. There's accusations of a cover-up. And interestingly enough, not too long after the arson, the real story comes out, some of the fire officials decide to resign and move on to other places or other jobs. A couple of them are related. And if you look into the case, you'll see there's a lot of suspicious circumstances with the Flora girls. So, Doug Carter, of the superintendent of the State Patrol, claims that he has stick-up stickers on his desk and also at home with the 4 Flora girls' names, Abby and Libby's names, and he says first thing he sees in the morning or thinks of, last thing he thinks about before he goes to bed at night, will think about it all his life until he solves these 2 cases. Well, he said that several years ago, and I hope it's still true. I hope you're still thinking about it every day, Mr. Carter. So, let me just say this. Somebody knows who Bridge Guy is. We've been through that. But let's talk about the Flora girls and that fire in 2016. So it's an arson. And then there's accusations of some corruption maybe within the people that investigated the fire in the first place, and not a whole lot of cooperation with law enforcement. So my point being, somebody or several people know exactly who started that fire and why it's been kept quiet, why nobody's cooperated. Which I think includes some of the people close to the Flora girls. From what we understand, some of the family members haven't been completely cooperative. And maybe that's changed and we just don't know it, because law enforcement doesn't tell us everything. They know a lot more than we do. I want to make this short, but I want to challenge the YouTube true crime sleuths, and I'm not being sarcastic. Some of you are very, very good at deep diving into cases. I've been on a number of podcasts, been invited to appear on podcasts, and every time I've appeared on 5 or 6 different podcasts, I bring up the Flora girls, and I pose the question, why don't they get the attention that other cases do? And everybody kind of shrugs their shoulder. I don't know, maybe we'll look into that. Well, I'm challenging you. You that do the deep dives and have the ability and the fortitude to dig into these cases, I challenge you to look at the Flora girls from 5 years ago. And let's bring them to the forefront for a while. They need attention. 4 little girls murdered in an arson. So that's my challenge. I'm going to keep this short. Let me just cover a couple of things. First of all, if you care about what I'm doing, please hit the like. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And share this. Share this information about the Flora girls, and let's get that moving. Let's get some people looking at it. Now, some of you say, well, why don't you do that? Well, I'm not sure what lane I'm in right now. I'm doing some other things that I think are worthwhile. I just finished kind of a public awareness movie, a short film. It has to do with young women that disappear. It's based on girls that I've met in the past working undercover and in homicide also, that shared how they ended up in a world that I'm going to be careful what words I use, but end up being sold, let's put it that way. And so we embellished the stories a little bit, but they're all these stories are based on girls that I've actually talked to and shared their stories. There's more out there than you realize. So I'm doing that, and I'm still writing and trying to do what I can in these areas. Now, back to the Flora girls real quick before I forget. Somebody knows something, especially on this fire, and the suspicious situations after the fire. So if you have information, you've been holding it all this time, and you feel like you want to come forward now, there's 2 things. You can get an attorney and come forward if you think you could be charged because you did something wrong. You protected somebody. But if you just have the information and you know who started the fire, or you know something about a cover-up, the arson hotline for Indiana is 1-800-382-4628. And I'll have that on the screen, hopefully. If you don't want to call that arson hotline and you have information about any cases in Indiana, but especially the Flora girls, the Indiana State Patrol number is 1-765-567-2125. And we'll have those numbers up there. So that's all I've got. I just want to throw these Flora girls out there to you and challenge you to do something with it. If you want to help me, I don't make much in monetization, and I don't have merch to sell or any of that, and probably never will. But I do have my book, House Secrets, out there. I think there's a copy of it back there. And it's on Amazon Prime. I get I think $1.60 or something like that every time a book sells. But it helps. It's nice to see those deposits come in every month. And a lot of you have purchased the book, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate the reviews that you've written. And I ask anybody that does purchase it, just write me the book a fair review. That's all I've got, really. There'll be a link below for my book, and you can order it right there. Just click on it and order it. If you want to know what it's like working undercover narcotics for many years, it's in the book, because I did it, and that's kind of based on some of the stuff I did. And if you're interested in outlaw biker clubs, I infiltrated an outlaw biker club, and that's in the book. And if you like murder, and you wouldn't be watching this if you don't, that's in the book. There's a very, very complicated murder in this book, and it takes many people to solve it. So I challenge you to buy my book and try to figure out who done it. That's all I've got. The Flora Girls, almost 5 years ago. Please share this. Have a good day.